Hello everyone. Let's discuss today one of the reputed and growing institute in Sri Lanka. The institute that's not only trying to develop their own among trying to help society, researchers, students from the different countries. The institute that turn crisis into new opportunity. Let's talk with Mr. Isanka P.Gamage, director and co-founder of TIIKM. Hi everyone, Mr. Isanka. Welcome to the show. So can you please explain what is TIIKM is all about? What's the definition of TIIKM?
Well, Shafras, the International Institute of Knowledge Management we have established in 2013 in Sri Lanka. So what we are doing right now, actually we are supporting to scholars, students, policymakers and industry leaders or practitioners to develop their career and also sharing knowledge through different platforms. We are organizing conferences, workshops, sometimes roundtable discussions, panel discussions or webinars to share more knowledge among those three parties. Mainly what we have done at the beginning, we try to change this research culture mainly in Asian region. The reason behind that, when we organizing this type of research conferences, we have identified one gap. Most of scholars in most of domains, when they are doing their research, most of the time they didn't consider about policymakers' requirement or industry requirement. They just did their research. So we thought we should change this culture. So that's why we created this type of different platforms to develop them, to change this culture by sharing knowledge across the globe. So right now we not only think about Asia, now we move into other regions as well. So we are getting more support from Western countries and developing countries and sharing knowledge among others and sharing knowledge especially in South-South cooperation as well. So that's about TIIKM.
So TIIKM is all about having conferences. Well, that is professional. But when you say conferences, what type of conferences are you actually referring to? And how do you believe that is important for the future of society?
When it comes to the conferences, TIIKM especially organizing research conferences, mainly academic conferences. In those conferences, we always trying to give more opportunities for scholars to develop their career. In there, most of senior scholars as well as we are giving opportunities for students as well to develop this young generation. Then, through those conferences, we always creating different features such as I mentioned earlier, different type of workshops, sometimes some publication opportunities, publication workshops. Then we are getting affiliations from reputed journals as well, because we believe we should create this platform to support to those scholars to develop their career. That's why we always getting reputed journals as supporting journals. So that's one thing. Then when it comes to the policymakers and industry or practitioners, we always getting their involvement as well to the conference. That's why we creating this platform to develop the network of all participants. Then sometimes they may able to find some scholars or some researchers from other part of the world or from same like-minded people or same interesting people from same other countries. When we think about those features, so that's really important. Anyone who participates to the conferences, so that's what we are doing right now through our conferences. Then as you mentioned, Shafras, so when it comes to the society, the benefit what we are giving for the society, so we helping all participants to develop their career, especially creating those platforms to share their knowledge and share their research findings among all other participants. Then they may able to develop their research or their research papers. Especially we are giving more support for them through giving more feedbacks through our resource people, through our evaluation panel. Likewise, that's what we are doing in those conferences.
Well, I understand the depth. I never knew that an institute could bring up so many researchers, universities from the different countries, and subject matter experts, of course, publication opportunity into a single conference. How is that all possible?
Well, Shafras, so that's a really good question. As I mentioned earlier, what we are doing right now to change this research culture, so that's part of our vision, to change this research culture, mainly in Asia at the beginning. Right now we are thinking about to change this research culture in other part of the world as well. To make it happen, we always get in support from developed countries like Western countries or other developed countries. And also, to make it happen, we are getting more support from a lot of organizations, and we are working with so many organizations across the globe. We having more than 250 universities affiliations around the globe. We having more than 200 journal affiliations as supporting journals for our different conferences under different domains. And also we are working with more than 2,000 scientific committee members across the globe under different domains. So that's how we are going to change this research culture, by supporting to people to change this world, to make a better world under the sustainable concept.
So, Mr. Isanka, based on your vision and mission statement, I'm curious to know about how you are managing. I mean, your institute has been doing something very challenging, taking out the problem that society faces, helping young researchers. What have been the biggest challenge to you, and how did you overcome it? For example, last year we had a pandemic crisis, and your institute found a way to overcome it and succeeded.
Yes, Shafras. So I believe all scholars, policymakers and industry people, they have huge responsibility in this type of pandemic time period. So at the same time, especially scholars and students, they can't wait until this situation is getting normal. They have to find some solutions for these real scenarios. At the same time, they have to show it to whole world. Then we thought we should support to them. That's why we change all of our conferences to virtual platform. Earlier we did all the conferences as physical conferences, but in this situation we change all conferences to virtual platform and given all the support to those participants to show their research findings to the world. Then to make it happen, of course, it was a very difficult time, not only for us, to whole globe, but we were able to manage the situation with our family members, that mean our TIIKM staff members, and with all the network which we are working with around the globe. All of them have given a tremendous support to make this happen. So that's why, for example, we have done a tremendous conferences, and we have given a lot of support by organizing free workshops and free webinars for our participants or previous participants as a support to develop their careers. So that's one of the reasons to change and to adapt to this situation. And also, Shafras, especially during this pandemic situation, that means during last year, we initiated a lot of new things, just like some networks. We initiated some associations under different domains. Through that, we gather all our networks, previous network, and all other key profile across the globe to one platform to share their knowledge, to support to other countries, other scholars or policymakers or practitioners. So that's how we change this situation, and that's how we make this situation and converted it to the better place or better future. So that's how we did it. Through that, we developed more networks and created more networking opportunities for people. Then they are working together. Now most of people, they are doing some joint research through those networks. So that's how we change it.
And how many universities have you affiliated with so far? And I believe you have a very good international composition. And I would like to hear from you as to how you able to achieve collaborating with so many universities in the world.
Well, there are more than 250 university affiliations under different domains. It's not limited to one region. It's those universities represented across the globe. As you mentioned, Shafras, so it's not an easy task. To make it happen, to get those affiliations, we always keep in our standards. When we organize in any conferences or any workshop or any platform, we always try to keep our standards and giving more support, giving more benefits to all our participants. Then when we get in those supporting universities, as a return, we are giving more benefits for our partners as well to develop their faculty members or to develop their students. We are giving more benefits for them. So that's how slowly we were able to bring those partnerships to TIIKM. So at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, there are more than 200 affiliated journals. Those journals are also reputed journals across the globe under different domains, as well as more than 2,000 scientific committee members representing different universities in the high level profiles also there. So that's how we develop this network. So still we have separate division who are working with international relations. So they are the people who are getting those affiliations and working closely with those universities to support to them.
TIIKM is published first ever newsletter under the conference WDRC, World Disability and Rehabilitation Conference. I really liked it. I found how many countries are involved into this. I found how really useful and what you are really trying to do to the people with special needs. Not only in Sri Lanka, from around the world, even countries from like Iraq. This is something like remarkable.
Well, when you talk about WDRC, of course, we did our first conference in 2015. After that, we were able to bring more participants representing different countries for this conference. Then, as a result of this conference, we were able to create another big association that's called WDRPA, World Disability and Rehabilitation Professionals Association. So under that, of course, as you mentioned, Shafras, we were able to send our first newsletter. When we talk about that newsletter, it has a special feature, because what we really need by sending this newsletter to different members representing different countries, we wanted to give real situations of some of our member countries, what they are doing and how they are working in there, and what type of real issues they are having likewise. So it make a really good newsletter to all our members. Not only the members, it has spread to other people also. It has really it's not just a newsletter, it has more things to learn. So I think through that newsletter also we were able to give kind of knowledge sharing support for all our participants. So as I mentioned earlier, as a result of this WDRC conference, we are able to create this association. So when we talk about this association, it has really important thing, because professionals who are working under different areas which related to disability and rehabilitation, so they have gathered together to make this association a real important association to the world. So we are working with different countries, such as represent all regions. Sometimes we didn't care about the language barrier as well. So that's how we make this association a better place to gain more knowledge and share more knowledge.
Well, how did you manage to control professional members, such caliber, team and employees all at the same time?
It's quite challengeable thing. It's not an easy task as well. But the truth is, it's kind of easy, because all the professionals and all our other members and all the staff members who are working with us, I would say all are like-minded people. Everyone would like to help to each other. They really like to share their knowledge among others. So that's why people are working with us. That's why people are supporting to us to give something back to the society, not considering any borders. As you mentioned earlier, there are people representing across the globe, so they are not limited to their country. So this is a time period who are talking about whole globe. It's kind of just a village. So no matter where we are, so each and every one of our members, they are supporting to each other to develop others. End of the day, all of our main goal is to change this world as a sustainable world. So that's the way.
Well, I have reached to my last question. Well, I would like to ask, representing such a large vision, what would you really like to tell to the society?
This is a very crucial time period for all of us. But to accept that challenge, to face to that situation, I would say all of us must have a strong mindset. So that's the important thing. If you have a strong mindset, definitely we may able to achieve our goals, no matter how big it is. And also, every one of you may have different knowledge under different domains. So no point to keep those knowledge within you, inside of you. You have to share your knowledge. When you share in your knowledge, definitely it will spread throughout the world. Finally, that will help to change this world. And also, don't wait till anyone supporting to you or any organization supporting to you to do any change. If you have any vision, if you have any dream to change this world in different area, keep a tiny step, then go for that. It will take a long time, some time, but finally it will have a huge impact. You may be able to see, but sometime not in your country. Maybe the results will come from some of other country. So keep in mind. So we have to learn more and share what we learn and what we have. That's my request from all of you. Thank you very much, and Ayubowan.
Well, Mr. Isanka, thank you so much for your taking time for the interview.